at the golf course today. So got the 220 in the haul truck here, and John come over here Friday while I was gone and transferred the mud back. The head section of this pond was extremely silted in with sand. Laid all that against the shoreline and dug a borrow pit, which we are going to be dumping it into. So I've got to load it into the truck. It's going to pull up back in there, since you know half of it's just going to turn pretty liquidy. That'll kind of hold it in place so he can back up in there and dump it out, and I'll stay down here to dig it and load the truck. So instead of having to transfer it back, I threw a mat down right there, and the sand should be dry enough to hold the weight of the truck up. We only have to move it once. It's amazing how much this stuff dries out. Just being stacked up over the weekend. Golf balls. Of course, when the green is on the other side of the pond right there where he's mowing, there's going to be a lot of casualties. So we're just taking out about 1,000 cubic yards. So should get majority of this done today, I would think. I want to dig it out about a foot below the water, and then once I cut out enough, kind of rake that little coffer dam down. Holding it up fine and dandy. We'll just keep doing that. Moved over here so I could make the complete cut all the way to the shoreline, not even have to try to go down that slope. Just trying to tear up as little as possible out here, since it is a golf course and they do have to fix everything back when I'm done. They did close this hole off today, so hopefully I won't have any idiots trying to knock golf balls over top of me. But probably won't be able to figure it out, and still will attempt to do it because they've done it the last 2 times I've been out here. Even though there's no flag out there, they come down here and just look mystified and still try to knock over the pond that I'm sitting in the middle of. I'll be sure to catch that on video when it does happen. It's not if it happens, it will happen. No doubt in my mind. Pile of golf balls. Everybody that thinks they're worth a fortune can come out here and pick them out of the mud hole, because that's about how much they're worth. Tape measure. I found the tape measure. I'm gonna load out one more, and then I'm gonna rake that little cofferdam down on the way and get as much as I can out of this little section right here. Then I'll flood the cut. Nice about that truck is it can drive over stuff. Right, time to flood this with water now. Well, it's already broke right there, so it made its mind up right when I did. So I'm going to scoop some of this out so that the depth doesn't really change a whole lot. Pile it up right here so it can kind of drain down a little bit before I get to it. The pond's actually flowing backwards. Get everything back even, just try to break it around just a little bit. It's sand, it pretty well levels itself out, but as you can tell I'm taking a big scoop out, so that kind of makes a little bit of a low area. happen. Too far apart, so I was actually falling in between them. Tape measure is one of the fiberglass flagpoles. Throw a little sand up so I'm not tipping over the mat so bad, and then get the rest of this little cofferdam. Boy, that sun's bright coming over that tree line. Oh, splatter. Oh, splattered again. Well, I've just royally made a mess with 2 scoops. Get rid of these mats. All it's doing is causing me to rock back and forth, splatter mud all over me. The ground is clearly strong enough to hold the machine up. As he's driving, and it'll just make that muddy. Hopefully most of it will run out right then, or right there. That way it doesn't become too... Oh, making good progress. We've already got all that removed. About an hour or so. Making another cut right here. But he said there's a sinkhole in the borrow pit, so I gotta go, once he dumps that load, dig it out and put some of that dry dirt in there, so that he said the truck's struggling to get through it. So let's go see what he's got. That would be the soft spot. So we've dug, you can see the brown layers in here. Every time we dig this out, we either dig a borrow pit in this hillside, or add it to it, or do something. So this was probably one of the old holes that is now a soft spot. So I'm going to dig it out, throw it back here, and rake some of that good dry dirt in here. Oh yeah, that was definitely a hole dug to put mud in. That was definitely pond mud. got done with the dryer sand, and now I'm loading out the pretty wet stuff right here. So I only put maybe 6 or 7 scoops in the truck without it pouring all out. But luckily I only have probably 8 or 10 loads of this, and then I'll be back into the sand. As the sand pushes out into the pond, it's a denser material, so it pushes all this siltier muck out into the pond. That's why all the sand's always up there where the pipe is, and all the leaves and goop is down here, and that's a mess right there. It's a pain to move, a pain to haul, stack, can't do anything with it. Sand, dump in the back of the truck. Hopefully maybe that will kind of keep that stuff in there a little bit better. Maybe not. I definitely don't need this pouring out all over the path on that hill. Then I will have problems, because the truck will be sliding everywhere. Alright, that's enough. Yeah, it's pouring out. I probably shouldn't have put that in there. Oh boy. I done got too greedy. Alright, we're good now. It's all uphill from there. Coming along really good. Just have that pile left to take out right there. Well, I am on the home stretch now. Probably 4 more loads to come out, maybe 5. That will be all of the sediment. So we have really hammered down this morning, got a lot done, and we're going to get a little more out of a corner down there, maybe a little off this edge to finish the yardage. Just went just a touch quicker than anticipated, so we got maybe 5 or 6 more loads to take out to get the yardage we need. And I'll get that from down there, because that's a pretty nasty looking mess in that corner down there by the pond dam. I have to go over there every now and then and throw some dry dirt on that hill. The water runs out of the truck and it pours out, makes it slippery. One time it was just like drifting sideways. It's mixed together pretty good now and dried out decent, it looks like. Got the head section dredged out, and there's a little cove right over here at the spillway that all the leaves and crap over all the years have accumulated at, and it's like a whopping 6 inches deep and looks horrible when the pond's full. So I'm going to dig some of this out while we have the excavator and the truck here, and all in all, clean the appearance up. As you're coming down the cart path, you drive right past it and it looks like a swampy mess. It over where I can reach it, and then I can go ahead and put it in the truck. Pretty much I'm taking it from 6 inches deep to about 3 feet. Be able to dump probably 4 or 5 scoops in here, because it's so wet it'll just pour out all over the ground. This is when a tailgate would be nice, but the other 95% of the time, this is when a tailgate would not be nice. or would not be nice because of hauling brush and logs and stumps. So, and it's a royal pain to take those things on and off, so that's the reasoning for not having a tailgate. Power wire going to the fountain. Right here instead. Because if it runs out all over the ground, then the next thing you know, the truck's spinning and sliding off into the pond. So I'd rather haul it twice as many loads than to deal with the truck getting stuck and not staying put. More loads and this will be it. So now I'm working on putting all the clay back, or at least half of it back, over the hole to cover everything up. And pretty much all we did was make a pit for the mud to go in, and taking the dirt, using half of it to cover it up and the other half of it to extend the slope out. Since this is dry material, it's a little easier to grade, and I can make it look nicer pretty much. So now I'm just taking the pile and laying it back in here. I'll track over what I can. It'll settle, but it's a golf course, nothing's level, so it'll blend right in. If they have to dress it up later, they can at least handle it. I just got to get the majority of the dirt to where it needs to go. I've yet to try to drive over top of this, but I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to, as I was able to drive over the sand that was in the pond, so hopefully disturbing it a couple times. I know some of it had a little water in it from digging it out. Maybe it didn't get too wet. Find out when it comes time to grade it. If not, I have the mats I can lay down. I want to be able to drive over so I can kind of track it in. bringing the skid steer as well, so I can run over everything and clean it up as nice as possible. I feel like with 3 or 4 feet of this dirt over top of it, it should bridge across it enough for a 14,000 pound skid steer to drive over it. But I could be wrong, but I have something big here to get it out with if I do bury it in the borrowed pit of mud. You know, stuff happens. It does happen. For a nice easy day, just sitting here baling dirt though. It's a little relaxing. Don't have to worry about any trees falling on me. I can wear shorts. The air conditioning works good, nice and comfy. Just sit back and bale dirt. No, bringing the dozer wouldn't be any beneficial because I got to walk the equipment down a cart path, and you can imagine what bulldozer tracks would do to asphalt. So, no go on that. All right, I'm gonna keep on plucking away at it. So this was the corner of the pond down here at the dam by the spillway that was so shallow. So now I've got all that dug out, and it'll be around 3 feet deep like the rest of it. Like I said, this pond is just for looks for the golf course, so it doesn't really matter how deep it is. So it was never really built very deep, but now it's dug out. It should last another 20 years right here. Now it's time to go finish spreading the dirt out that I raked out yesterday with the excavator. Got the skid steer today. So it's coming along. I roughed all that in with the excavator yesterday. Like I said, roughly. Now I'm coming in here with the skid steer and knocking it down and getting it tracked in. You'll be surprised how much the skid steer packs it down. So what I'm doing now is cutting this slope down and extending it out and getting a nice slope on it. And then as I grade around, it keeps tracking it down and packing it down. I'll go over that another time or two, and that'll be good enough for them to be able to handle with the tractors. I'll set you up down here so you can watch. so the pond is slowly filling back up from the runoff out of that pipe, and the hillside is graded back. That was the wettest corner. I had to grade that out with the excavator, but I was able to level everything else out with the skid steer, and I think it turned out really nice. I like the hillside. It looks good. It's gonna be a lot of sod. Said they would start on that next week. That's probably at least 2 tractor trailer loads, maybe 3. That's a big area. We'll drag it with the tractors and loosen it up a little bit and start laying the grass out. Looks like the hill's always been there.